All right, impound. Don't go nuclear. That's the subject of the riff. After completing his highly successful trade and diplomacy trip to the Indo-Pacific region, where he outfoxed and cornered China in so many areas, President Trump then wrote a long Truth Social note where he advocated for ending the government shutdown with what is called the nuclear option, writing, and let me quote, "It is now time for the Republicans to play their trump card and go for what is called the nuclear option, get rid of the filibuster, and get rid of it now." So I can surely understand Mr. Trump's frustration with the radical Democratic Party that's being driven by the Mondami AOC Bernie Sanders socialist wing, but I do not think ending the filibuster is a good idea. Speaking as somebody who strongly supports the president's agenda of tax cuts and deregulation and energy dominance and reciprocal free trade and closing the border and so forth, I think ending the filibuster would do great damage to those pro-growth policies which miraculously passed under one big beautiful bill. Mr. Trump himself admits in his Truth Social post that the Democrats fought hard to end the filibuster but failed. He even notes that ending the filibuster would at some point allow Democrats to pack the Supreme Court, make Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico new states, thereby picking up 4 Senate seats and many House seats and electoral votes from those ultra-liberal places. The Committee to Unleash Prosperity adds to the list would have passed without the filibuster. Here it is: National Voter ID ban, Green New Deal, card check, $15 minimum wage, cap and trade national energy tax, completely socialized medicine, and the PRO Act that would force unionization. Let's not go there. I have a much better idea: presidential impoundment. Budget Director Russ Vought is ready to pull the trigger on all the non-essential workers that will remain non-essential forever. I call it Doge 2.0. And all those pork barrel Democratic spending items that Joe Biden lined up for his reelection last year, that stuff was so bad it even gave waste, fraud, and abuse a bad name. I'll be polite. They're all non-essential. Because the government is presently unfunded, the chief executive has the authority to impound personnel and non-entitlement programs. While OMB Russ Vought has got his weapon locked and loaded, he's being held back by a lower court judge who has enjoined the administration from taking these actions. But all that's on appeal and is likely to be overturned. Unquestionably, President Trump, as the chief executive of the executive branch, has the inherent constitutional power to impound during this period. If Democrats come back to power without a filibuster rule to restrain them, well, heck, they'll spend and tax and regulate a quadrillion dollars worth of programs that will destroy the economy. On the other hand, if President Trump exercises his executive authority to impound non-essentials, he will greatly slim down the size and scope of the federal government. He'll reduce deficits and debt along the way. And in that scenario, economic prosperity will flourish almost more than anybody can possibly imagine. And that is the riff.